coffee. Come on, you please.
And today, it is all about Everton Football Club. All right, for the next hour, we're going to be looking back at some of the club's greatest moments and forwards under the guidance of one David Moyes. Who cares if Liverpool hold on to win the title? The Toffees are back and they're resurgent. There we go. So, who better to help us over the next hour than one of Everton's greatest ever players and character? It's only Neville Southall, everyone. Neville, prolonged applause there, prolonged applause.
You sound shocked.
Definitely not. It's great to have you here. Thank you. You've come from Wales, I believe, to join us here today. So thank you so much. Jim, you're good? Feeling all right?
It's not China, it's Wales.
I feel like Wales is like
They do have roads in Wales that go all the way. Yeah.
Excellent. Right, we'll also be joined later in the show by Everton fan comedian Sam Avery will be here as well. And our resident man from the terraces is amongst the couches today. Hello, Charlie Baker. How are you?
You've let me on the couch, Becky. It's very dangerous.
How are you?
Very, very well. Lovely. A proper football club in Everton. Proper. It's lovely. Like, I mean, I say that every week, but you know, it's a proper football club. I said it to the Forest fans. I'll say it to you. It's a proper football club. Absolutely love it. You ever been to Goodison, Becky?
I have. I have
yes.
been to
I mean, if
Goodison
you haven't,
a
go
number of
soon because it won't be there. Might be a bunch of houses soon. So.
I have. I very much enjoy it. I was there for the Aston Villa game. Yeah.
Ooh, got beat. Oh, yeah.
I was there for that game, right? But that was the last time.
Maybe it's you. Maybe you're the curse.
No! It's David's first game in charge, and it's just been up ever since, hasn't it? So, excellent for that. Right, Sam will join us a little bit later in part 2, which means this section, it's all about you, Neville.
Good.
Should we start by having a quick recap of your career? All right, so you started semi-pro, then moved to Bury, £6,000. From there, you went to Everton for £150,000.
Yep.
Nice little profit there for Bury, wasn't it?
1980-81 season, I think.
There we go. But you spent 17 years at Everton, Goodison Park. You won a whole load of stuff. It must have been an amazing time for you.
It was brilliant. There were some bad times and some good times. It's not what you do, it's the respect you get off the people. So to earn the respect of Scousers is hard. Because they know a fraud when they see one. God, we've had a few frauds, in all fairness. So for me it wasn't about, it's about winning personally for stuff, but in the main, if you can get the respect off the fans, then you've won. And I think that's the best thing you can ever do is, if you go to, it's not being disrespectful, in a way it is, but there you go. If you go to Norwich or somewhere like that, you can have one good game, 3 dodgy ones, and everyone thinks you're great. If you go to Everton and not perfect every week, you get earache. So you have to get used to that. Yeah. So for me, the buildings, the stadium's great, but the club is not the club without the people. So it has to be about the people. And if you earn their respect, then that's the best thing you can ever do.
I feel like that's been a core value of Everton Football Club, isn't it? Even to like this day. It's all about the people in Everton and the passion.
It is with the people. Higher up, I think it's been watered down to a massive extent, where they've just fed you stuff. Like at the moment, we've been fed stuff. And it's not right. Over the past, I don't know, 30 years, everything we've done has not been good enough. The standards have dropped. And now everybody's happy because we're better than Ipswich. Right? And the bottom 3. And that's, no. We've got to look to the top and say, right, if we're going to win something, which we should win something, because that's what they're there for. They're not there to make numbers up. The club like Everton are there to win stuff. So you have to aim there first. We're aiming at mid-table and staying up. That's complete crap. And that's no ambition.
I think what Neville always managed to do was be a voice of the fans and like a fan on the pitch. And I think what you say there is absolutely right. is fans want the club to be at the heart of a community. And that is the point of a football club, is to everyone to come together at the heart of a community, which you've always seemed to have understood. Goodison, you know, leaving Goodison, the grand old lady, as they call it. No wonder Wayne Rooney spent so much time in it. And the Toffees, of course, known as the Toffees, Becky, because of Mother Noblitz. Mother Noblitz Toffee Shop. I've been up there a few times on her birthday. But it's... not as funny as the first one. But it is at the heart of the community. And do you think moving out of Goodison and moving away from, you know, where it is based in the city and in the rows of houses, do you think it will lose a bit of that? Or do you think the fans that go with it will keep that going?
You're going to lose something because everybody knows everybody when they go to the games. They sit in the same place with the same people. Week in, week out, they become part of your family. We're going to go down there and people are going to be spread out and they'll have to make new friendships, and that takes time. And as for being where it is, they're saying it's a 20-minute walk into town. Well, I think Usain Bolt would struggle to do it in 20 minutes if I can't. It's going to be a bottleneck if they don't get it right. I don't know, the way it's done up, the fantastic stadium. We've done it the wrong way around. You know, most teams have a really good team and somebody buys them a stadium. We've got a crap team and we have to buy our own stadium. And I think that's where it's gone wrong. The recruitment over the past 30 years has been dreadful. The choice of managers sometimes have been dreadful, and we've lost our identity. We're getting it back under Moyes, in fairness, a bit, but in the main, we've lost the identity, and that comes with having loads of different managers because they all want their own type of players. If it was me, I would never have a manager anywhere near the academy, ever. Do the first team, stick to that. This is our philosophy. You come and fit into our philosophy. You do not change the whole club. This is our identity, this is our philosophy, this is how we play, and everyone in this room knows how they want to play. Right? The 5 or 6 things that go into making an Everton footballer. We've seen them over the years. The club have got to have that first, and the academy's got to be run like that. And we're not producing players for somebody to come in and change them all. We're producing it to play the Everton way. And the Everton way's got to be the right way, and it's got to be concern everybody in this room. When I spoke to a couple of directors and said, look, why don't you just pick 5 things, let the fans pick the 5 things they want to see in a player? And we'll use them as our guidelines. We'll never sign anybody else who can't meet them 5 things and criteria. But they don't like doing that because they want to get somebody to come in, like Sam Allardyce, who saved us from relegation, who just give the ball a headache, basically. He wanted this type of player. So they get that type of player from the academy up. Then you get Coleman, and then you get Martinez, and then you get somebody else, and you get somebody else. There's too many different styles, and what it does do is it leaves dead wood behind that nobody wants, and we're still getting rid of the dead wood. And we've got people there on overpaid players who are average, and they're not good enough. So I would go in there, and if I was ruthless, I'd get rid of nearly everybody at that club, players, and start fresh and go, right, we're going to sign them if they can win us a league. If not, bin them. Because I ain't spending no money on rubbish anymore. We've done that for the past 30 odd years. Get some good players in, win us a trophy, and go from there.
Say what you think, Neville. Stop sitting on the fence, for goodness sake.
But it's a fair point, because in your day with Everton, you won 2 First Divisions, 2 FA Cups, 1 European Cup. What was it about the team at the time that did that?
Well, first of all, they all give everything every week. Nobody told them they were tired, which they do now. They were always motivated because they wanted to do it for themselves as well as the team, as well as the fans, as well as everything else. So they were super motivated. Incredible bunch of moaners. No, they were. They moaned about everything all the time to drag that a little extra bit out of you. So no more, you know, if you make a great save, someone come and go, why didn't you catch it? You're giving corners away, you're stupid. Stop doing that. So you get that all the time. and they would just drive each other on to become better players. And we had a manager and a coach who would just nail it in every day in training. And I think the ex-Man United, was it Ten Hag, said something the other day, which I think is the difference between football then and now, is that you can't criticise players these days. In my day, you certainly knew if you played badly. Certainly knew. If the fans didn't tell you, then the manager would tell you, and it was up to you then. You either change your ways or he bins you. But now it's like, well, 25 egos is hard to manage. So they spend time managing 25 egos where really they should be able to say what they want to say and get it out the way. And I think if you listen to the last at least 3 seasons, every time we've struggled, it's always been all the players and all the managers say, we need to do this. Well, no, we don't. You do. Each individual, you need to do that, and you need to do that, and you take responsibility. And they don't take responsibility. And I think that the big difference is we had to take responsibility because nobody else would allow us to do anything else. And these don't take responsibility. I know society's changed a bit where, people don't like being criticised, but, well, don't become a footballer if you don't want to be criticised, because you're either going to be really good or crap, and somebody's going to like you and somebody's not. You've got to live with that, but all you can do is do your job to the best of your ability, because that's what you get paid for. You don't get paid to sit on your arse on the bench. You don't get paid not to try. You don't get paid not to miss games. You get paid to play every game you possibly can and to be the best you possibly can. And if they're not, then get rid of them.
What was that like?
Over your 17 years at Goodison, is there, I appreciate that is a large time scale, but is there sort of moments that stand out to you for being a favourite memory, best memory, something like that?
Yeah, I think the Winners' Cup semi-final against Bayern Munich, I think it was probably in any other city we'd have lost that. And I think it's very rare where you get a team, a city, and the fans all come together at the same time. Because we struggled first half a bit, really. And then second half, our Kendall manager said, look, to Andy Gray and Graham Sharp, centre forwards, look, just play the British way. Just smash them. Just smash them, physically, mentally smash them. And he did, in all fairness. And it was a rough game, but I think because everybody in that stadium pulled together on the same night, it made it really, really special. I had to give all my medals back for that one game. It was just fantastic. 45 minutes to try and get in the ground. So I mean, it was just amazing. And to be fair, when I do dinners in Liverpool, I've never met anybody who wasn't there. So the crowd was, we must have had a crowd of about 4 million people. And it was funny because their manager had to go at Howard because he got a bit physical and said, look, Howard, this is not football, this is war. And Howard went, yeah, but you lost 2 of them as well, haven't you?
84-85, you won the league by 13 points.
Oh, what a team. That was an amazing team, that team.
But it had drive. And you have to have good drivers, and Howard and Colin and Mick Eaton, to be fair to him, they were good drivers. So you have to have someone to drive that. Colin was the most grumpiest man ever met in your life. Do you know, if you give him £1 million, he still wouldn't moan. Yeah, but it's £1 million, but you didn't give it me in the right way. Give him like this. But he'd always be there every single day. And I watched him, and he had 2 plastic hips, and he'd go out and he'd try and be the best player in the father side.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, is he mental? Or has he got that drive in? Well, he had the drive in him. He had the drive, he just wanted everything to be better and better and better. And they used to set each other up, to be fair. If you come in, I would say, what about this? And you go, oh, hang on. Colin would dive in and he'd absolutely hammer you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But they wouldn't hammer you in a disrespectful way. They'd say, A, B, C, this is why you've done it wrong.
Do you think, what you were talking about then about mentality and the mentality of the club now and what you see of the club now, then you were, playing in Europe year in, year out. You were winning championships, so you had a big club mentality going into those games. Everton was seen as a big club, And do you think that's shifted now? And you now think, and now what happens is they think, well, we're only Everton, so when we're taking on the bigger clubs, they feel like they're punching up.
There's no bigger club.
I know that Everton. No. That's not what I'm saying.
No, I know what you're saying.
I know you think that, but do the players now think that? That's what I mean.
Players don't give a shit. If I'm honest, they don't look as if they give a shit.
There's one or two.
No, well, if you look in general, I look at our club as a club, and you go, right, okay, what do they want to achieve? It started, funny enough, when David Moyes was there, and they thought 10th was a good place to be. So we lost our ambition there on that day. From there, we just went down and down and down. And we got to a point now where we've struggled for the past 4 years, where we're actually celebrating staying up and not being ashamed of it. But we should be ashamed of it as a club. And everybody in that boardroom should have been ashamed of what went on. And whoever signed them players should have been ashamed of what we got. So we don't know our own worth. And that's a real problem. Hopefully now with the new owners coming in, we'll build that back up. But the only way you're going to build it up is to go and win stuff. You know, they might all be nice lads, but it's what they are that counts. You've got to have good players. And unfortunately, at the moment, come next season, we're either going to overpay somebody to come to the club, because if I was a top player, would I come for David Moyes and his style of football? No, I wouldn't. Would I come for a lot of cash? Maybe. Because you might have to overpay to start with, because you need to sign some real quality. The trouble is the quality goes up the top to the top 4 or 5 teams because they have more money. So the players now get attracted to the cash and the managers who win stuff. So we need to get our act together, and we need to start signing some decent players. You know, you can say these try and all that, which is great. A few of them care, but in the main, the position don't lie. The state of the club for the past 20 odd years has been disgraceful. And yet we're daydreaming and being pushed into a land that we think it's okay now because we're safe. It's not okay. It's an absolute disgrace where we are, because we should never have been in this position in the first place.
So on that, are you having David Moyes?
Short term, yeah. Long term, no.
Agreed.
Yeah, short
Because I still think if we want to sign the calibre of players we want to sign, they're going to come for somebody who plays the sort of football that they like. And you could look at all the managers in the league, and they all play like the manager's personality. You know, you looked at Man United under Ferguson. They all played like Alex Ferguson's personality. They just never give in. Never ever give in. And you're looking at that and you're going like, we need somebody with a personality who's going to drive and play the sort of football that people want to come. Because we're going to have to fill that ground all the time. And we have to be in Europe, because we can't afford, it won't be sustainable to come 15th in that stadium. It just won't. And it'll be disgraceful if we don't finish in the, well, I hate players when they go back and say, yeah, well, you know, it's going to be good to stay in the league. Well, why are you playing football? Come back to win the league, or don't come back. Because your attitude's got to be to win the league. If it's not, why are you playing? You've got to start there, and whatever you fall, fine, because the league won't lie. But you don't go in there to go, well, it'd be great if we finish 5th bottom. And you're thinking, what's the ambition of that? It's like a dead frog. What's the point? So I know the expectations of a different club, but the expectations in this room is that Everton have to be successful and have to win stuff. And if the board had as much ambition as the fans and as good as the community, we'd be all right. But they haven't. Well, they might have now, but in the past, oh my God. It was dreadful to watch, and it was dreadful to see the decline of a fantastic club being torn away by people who used it as a toy and not as a football club.
Right, that is it for part 1. We're going to take a very quick break. You guys stay exactly where you are. Sam Avery is going to hop on the couch when we come back in a second. Hello, Club in West London, and we're enjoying all things Everton. We have been talking to Neville Southall. We've been joined on the stage not only by Charlie Baker, but also Everton fanatic, the comedian Sam Avery is here. Sam, we always start by asking, how did you find Everton Football Club?
Difficult. Can I just say, have Everton got more bald fans than any other club? And I don't know if it's because the club just knocked it out of. I mean, I'm only 19 years old actually, but it's so many Everton fans, not one obstructed view, which is just unbelievable, isn't it? Although I think someone's over there in the corner. So how did I find Everton? Well, I suppose my mum and dad were just fanatical Everton fans, and going back a couple of generations before them, my granddad, my nan and my granddad on my mum's side, just massive Everton fans. So it was just drummed into me. It wasn't a choice. It was like, this is what you are. And as I grew up, I was lucky I grew up watching Everton in the era when Neville was playing. So, you know, we were winning leagues, we were winning European trophies, and it was very easy to be an Everton fan in the 80s. And then my dad took me the game a couple of times, and I didn't really sort of start going until he took me to a match for the first time in a few years, which was the Wimbledon game when we stayed up on the last day of the season in 1994, which was obviously an amazing experience to be there. It was a funny experience, and I think Neville made a good point about putting pictures up about the Great Escape, you know, staying up and avoiding relegation. I think that does set a terrible tone for the club. We shouldn't be celebrating that and have pictures of that at the training ground at Finch Farm. We should have pictures of winning the league or winning the European Cup Winners' Cup, or just put that picture up of the dogs playing snooker. It's something less offensive than, oh, we survived and we didn't go down, which is, you know, not what Everton should be aspiring to. But that game really just like lit a fuse in me, and I was just obsessed with the club then. Started going the next season. We were bottom of the league for a long time the next season, and I got a half-season ticket. Duncan Ferguson signed for us, and we went on and won the FA Cup that year. And I thought, this is easy being an Everton fan. We haven't won anything since. But it's part of who you are. It's like a religious thing in the city of Liverpool as well, for both clubs really. You know, it's just a religious thing. I think with Everton, the religious metaphor goes a step further, because it's almost like we're waiting for our great rewards in the afterlife, you know, because the real life's kind of not giving us much at the moment. But there is a lot of optimism at the moment around the club, which feels odd and good.
Well, I was going to say, what are you making of this season then? Because it looks like you're going to steer away from relegation now, like, definitely.
It seems that way, yeah. I mean, it just seems like for the first time, like I feel like I'm feeling these emotions that I forgot I could feel about football. And I'm not getting ahead of myself, because Nev's right, we're still 15th, which is not to be hugely celebrated, but just from where we were under the previous manager Sean Dyche, it was like some of the away games I'd watch under Dyche, and I'd be like, if I didn't know this game was live, I'd be thinking, I've seen this before. This isn't on now. This is like the diagonal balls to Calvert-Lewin, who's like 50 yards away from another player, and just no plan. What was that line that Sean Dyche said? He said, well, if you had a couple of wins in, the run wouldn't have been that bad. It's like, what? So if the run wasn't what it was, it would be different. Wow. You know, so you don't really want someone who can't form sentences running your football club, do you? So I think I think when he moved on and David Moyes came in, I was fairly underwhelmed with the appointment of Moyes, because I thought it was a step backwards. But I did think short term, you know, it's probably going to be the right move. But what he's given us is just a sense of belief and a sense of optimism. And I think football's all about, you know, hope, isn't it? It's not about, as Everton fans, we always say it's the hope that kills you, but it's not, is it? It's the lack of hope, and there's been no hope for the last 3 years. And now we've got hope. We've got a new manager, we've got new owners, we've got a new stadium that we can finally feel excited about, which is mad, because I've just been driving past that thinking, we're going to go down, we're going to go out of business, and that's going to remain unfinished. And there it is, we're moving into it very soon. Feels like we've got a new team. The last 2 games we haven't been great since warm weather training in the UAE. If it wasn't the UAE, I would have thought they'd been on the ale, because they've been terrible. But it feels like, and I think the best thing that David Moyes has done, and it sort of goes back to one of your points, Neville, which was that not on the pitch so much, but giving a sense of pride back in Everton, in that he's talked Everton up instead of talking them down. He says we, he says us. He also after the derby, when we scored in the 19th minute, don't want to keep going on about it, we were all buzzing because it was the last derby Goodison, and we were obviously just absolutely overjoyed. And someone said, "Are you going to have to bring the players back down to earth after that game?" And he went, "Why? We've been down to earth forever. Let's keep it up. Let's keep it going." And that just, to have a manager who's kind of like fighting our corner and trying to big us up, feels great.
What do you think of the squad at the minute?
It's poor. There's a lot of players out of contract at the end of the season, isn't there? So there's a lot of opportunity to bring new blood in. How much they want to do that in one go is kind of, that's going to be down to the club. I think there's the fact that we are safe earlier on in the season, you know, we're not taking it down to the wire. I think we're closer to top 4 than we are to relegation. We're nowhere near either, but that feels good as well. It means that we are definitely a Premier League club next season, so at least that will enable conversations to happen earlier on, I would hope. I think David Moyes has got a record of making players better when they come to Everton, because for so long, players have come to Everton and either just stagnated or just got worse. And I think he has got the ability to, you know, Jake O'Brien, he's brought him into the team. The guy's got a head like one of those Easter Island rocks, hasn't he? But he can move, and I'd love to see him dance. I bet he's amazing. Get him on Strictly next year, because he's 6'7". He's brilliant, and he's not even playing in his right position. So players like that, you know, a few more of them. And Jai's a great player. He's playing further up the field under Moyes.
Not a great player.
Okay. I don't want to argue with the biggest living legend of the club.
Argue with him, see what happens.
Okay, that's it. Can I swap seats before I argue with him?
Fight.
I think he's got the potential. He's a promising player. Okay, maybe I need to rephrase that. He's the kind of player we haven't had much of recently. And I feel like within Jai, he's got, how far he goes, we'll find out, won't we? But he feels like if he was dribbling through a 10-car pile-up on the M6, he'd still come out with the ball at the end. He's got this uncanny ability, like the old Harry Enfield sketch where it's glued to the foot. He's like, so he gets you off your seat. We haven't had anything like that for a long time. We have been starved. We've been eating gruel, and so you throw us anything like resembling a decent meal, we're like, oh my God, this is amazing. So we have got to keep our powder dry and, like, you know, keep our feet on the ground a little bit, but there's a lot of improvements and standards, and it's nice to hear you say that, because I think the standards at Everton have just been on the floor for far too long, and I think recognising that they need to be raised is a starting point.
It is a club of great strikers as well. You say it's not, you know, in the past you've had, I'm going to say Lineker, Graham Sharp was your good striker for you, wasn't it? Lukaku was great, I thought, getting closer to where we are now, and of course the best of all, unless you're a burglar, Big Dunk. What happened in the recruitment process? What do you think happened in the youth development process that those players aren't coming through? But also, Nev, who's the best you ever trained with?
Trevor was the best trainer, to be fair. There's a difference, because when I looked at Sheeds, when Sheeds first come, looked at Kevin Sheed and I thought, Jesus Christ. He walks like he's got 3 horseshoes, not 4, hobbling about, and then he started picking the balls around the pitch. I went, well, fair enough then. Yeah. So I mean, different class. And I think of all the players that we've ever had in that squad, he's the only one we couldn't replace, because we had nobody to do what he could do.
Kevin Sheedy.
Yeah, nobody could do what he could do. So he could replace everybody else, mainly with Alan Harper or Kevin Richardson. But he couldn't replace, because he just had something different. And if he was playing now, he'd score 1 million goals, because the walls are shit and the goalies are shit.
Who's a good goalie? Who's a good goalie, Nev?
Oh, the lad at Man City's all right. Liverpool's okay. Ours is average. He does okay. Average? He's average. If I played like that, I'd be out of the team for Howard. So I'm glad he's English. Because if you look at the other two who are English, happy days. We're struggling in Wales, to be fair, but no. Again, all the standards, you look at the standard of actual goalkeeping, it's poor. How can anybody be world class if they can't catch a ball?
There's a lot of punching going on nowadays, isn't there? You know,
Yeah.
just going back to Big Dunk, actually. But just, it seems to be, is it because the balls move? Or is
So
it
the
because-
balls only move on a Saturday, do they? What happens the rest of the week when you train with them?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Well, surely you'll get used to the ball and you go, right, this is the way we do it. But if you look at a lot of the goals, they push the balls back to where the balls come from when they score. They push the ball out to give a corner away. And you're thinking, can any of them, if you were playing now, that's what I'm talking about standards, wouldn't you want to be the one that could catch it? And be head and shoulders above everybody else.
There is nothing better as a football fan than if you're defending a 1-goal lead and it's near the end of the game and your keeper comes out and just grabs the ball and falls through about 6 players. It's like this incredible relief, and it just shows a lot of composure, doesn't it, and confidence in the goal.
But, it's they keep telling me it's changed, right? Goalkeeping's changed. You need to be good with your feet. Well, do you? Because as soon as the ball comes back to me, in my day, everybody just went, see you later. You pick it up and boot it down there. Now it comes back to you, full back there, centre halves are there, full backs there, full backs up there, centre midfield comes. You've got 5 choices and you only have to pass it here and there. It ain't difficult, is it?
Can I tell you the biggest change between when you were playing and now is that when my dad first took me to the match, he was talking about Everton and the history and all of that. I took my lad to his first Everton match this season, and it was the Southampton game. Support kids, yeah.
0800 111
He's currently, he's currently in a secure centre away from me, so it can't happen again. It was the Southampton game in the League Cup. We had 25% possession, we lost on penalties, and it was awful, and he loved it. But on the way into the ground, instead of talking about Everton, I found myself in this genuine conversation with him about PSR. And I was walking in, I was like, well, so you can lose 105 million over a 3-year basis, or it could be 35 million over an annual basis, but ultimately you can offset some of these costs against, charitable endeavours. And he's like, what? Enjoy the game, son. It's like, what are we doing here? Where's the soul? Where's
You'll
the
never
joy?
sing that.
How much are you paying him pocket money?
He's getting £10 a month. He's getting, but
Well, that's an ISA, is it?
it's in a high yield stocks and shares ISA. So he's hopefully going to be able to buy the home kit in a couple of years with that. But what this turnaround has been, and albeit it is a small turnaround at the moment, it's given people like my son and other kids in the city as well, competing with obviously another team in the city. I don't want to mention the name, but they're doing quite well. It didn't do so well yesterday. But never mind. I was on the train. I was in Yorkshire all weekend. I was coming in on the train, and I was buying a bacon butty from the buffet cart, and the woman was a Geordie, and I recognised her accent. And she heard my accent. She went, "Did you watch the football yesterday?" And I said, "You think I'm a Liverpool fan, don't you?" And she went, "Yeah." And I went, "I'm an Everton fan," and we just high-fived each other. It's great. Still had to pay for the bacon butty, but to give kids like people to look up to, like footballers, and we've been starved of that as Everton fans, and someone like Njai, who, and you're right, let's see where he takes his career and how far he can go. But he's just someone to get excited about, and I think that's something that we've really been starved of. So it just feels good, and if we can bring in, 2, 3, 4 more players who get you off your seats over the summer, then we'll all be very happy.
As fans, do you expect that to happen next season? Do you expect it to happen and get them over the line?
The hope is the word.
Hope. Demand it, hope it. I mean, the realistic expectations, what it'll do.
I think the market's got smaller and smaller, and it gets smaller and smaller because where the players go, and they go to the top clubs money-wise, because they can sit there for 4 or 5 years, do nothing, and be set up for the rest of their life. So the flow down to the lower teams will never come, because it'll always go up, always to the top. So we need to be competing at that level financially to start with. Yeah, we got a new ground, but we're not in any competitions. So we're going to have to overpay, I think. And I think what's proved as well is that you can only bring a certain number of players in. Yeah. Because what you got to remember is when Colin brought in, I think 5 or 6, and Howard brought in 7, there was 7 unhappy players in that dressing room because we were taking their places. There was 5 when Colin come in, and they were experienced ones as well. So it created a bit of an atmosphere. So today, it's easy to buy somebody. Getting rid of them is hard, because some of these players now that we've got, the money that they're on, they won't get anywhere else. They just won't get it. So they're going to stay there as long as they can and not move on unless they get weighed in, which is fair enough. But it goes back to recruitment. Why would you recruit somebody who's an average player and pay him over the money, and then you've got to get rid of them? And then if you sack the manager, you've got to get rid of all the ones that you don't want. And you have to pay a fortune to get rid of people. And the one thing Sharpie did, Graham Sharp, when he was on there, they were going to give Frank Lampard a 5-year contract. And he said, well, why are you doing that? Because you sack everybody after 18 months. Give them 2.5, and at least you're saving 2.5 years' money. So they did that, to be fair to him. But, and I also think there's a bigger question for the Premier League to ask, to answer, is how Moshiri became owner of Everton Football Club. Because he has to have passed the test. And all of them should pass a test. And when it goes wrong, they're responsible because they let him come through. They're saying he's a fit and proper fella to run that club. Well, look at it. He doesn't have a clue.
What I've liked to do over the last sort of 7 or 8 weeks is try and sort of change the narrative in my head, because I agree with everything you've said, and Moshiri was a disaster for the club, and it could have been such a stepping stone for success, but it wasn't. But now I like to turn it around and go, they've tried everything to kill this club. They've tried everything. And not many clubs would have stayed together and still had the unwavering support of the fan base that we've had. And you just can't kill Everton. You just can't kill us. Like, drop the H-bomb. There'll be cockroaches, Keith Richards, and us. That'll be all that'll be left. Just singing the blues, you know what I mean? Keith Richards just...
There's only one reason why we've survived. And that's because of the people here.
Yeah.
It's not because of the players. It's because every time we've been in the ship, that the people have got together, and you look at the welcome that the bus gets. Now, if I was a player and I was looking at that, I'd be going, wow, we get this when we won the league. Imagine if we actually won something. So if that's not a driving force, but it's not up to the fans to buzz the players up. It's up to them to get their finger out and do the job in the first place. So we shouldn't be there. So I remember Mike Walker when the Wimbledon game, to be fair, we come on, he was over the moon, thinking he'd done it. You put us in it, you. Somebody, Frank Lampard, the same. Frank Lampard up on the roof celebrating. He put us in relegation. What's he celebrating for? Because he got out of jail.
It's back to that mentality, isn't it?
Yeah, the mentality should be, well, what the hell? You say to Mike Walker, well, what's going on? He said, oh yeah, we did this. And I thought, shut up, man.
Yeah.
I wouldn't let you manage my dinner.
I've put that fire out. Well, who started it? Oh, yeah, that was me as well.
I think the problem Everton will have this summer is that everyone wants the same thing. All clubs, Arsenal are going, we'd have won the league if we'd had a striker. We won a striker. You've got 5 other clubs looking for the same striker. So everyone's in the market for the same thing. The clubs who seem to get it right, and I think a model that Everton might choose, and Neville will hate me saying this, are like Bournemouth, Brighton, who seem to have amazing scouting networks, find these amazing players and bring them on, and then Chelsea sign them for crazy money. And that seems... I saw Tony Bloom, the Brighton chairman, the other week at Cheltenham, and he had a winner at Cheltenham, 100 to 1. I don't know if you saw that. Chelsea have signed him this summer. It's unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. But
we've signed a few donkeys in our.
But yeah, I think that's the trouble Everton will have, is if you're trying to spend money, the market is...
But I'm saying the market's got smaller. It's got smaller. And one of the reasons why it's got smaller is because there's people within football stopping people doing what they're supposed to do.
Right.
You've got the fitness people telling them they can only do so much. It's not a proper job. I mean, you can only play so many games. Go get a proper job, man. So don't tell me that you're tired. Don't tell me at all that you're tired until you go down to an A&E or tell you join the police or tell you go in the army until you do a proper job. Don't tell me you're ever tired and you can't play football, because that's just taking the piss because of what they do. And then you so whenever you say, oh, he's tired, oh, he's not motivated, you think, well, whose job is it to motivate him? It's his job. He's playing for the shirt. He's playing for the best club in the world, and you can't get off your arse and do a job. Well, go. It's just very simple. And then you've got the fitness people. You can only play so many games. No, nobody in my whole career told me that I couldn't play a game because I was tired. It was all about you've got to play more games because we're paying you and your contract says you've got to be available for every game.
What if we did that though, and after like 3 games we had 9 players out with muscle injuries because they were all just like gone through the red zone? And
Well, but there's no red zone. What do you think? Yes.
I've been to Amsterdam and I can say there is.
Hence why
I
you've
got a
got no
muscle
hair.
rub that day. Actually.
So
That won't make the cut, will it?
the red zone, right, is what they put on it. Is it a red zone for the SAS? What does all sport do? You have to go through what you think you can't go through to improve. So if they're getting to this level and everybody's stopping them getting to the next level because this is safe and we don't know what's on the other side of that, how would you get any better?
Well, the great Alan Ball, who we all love as an Everton player, it was the '66 World Cup final. He said hitting the wall. He said he hit the wall twice in that game and just went through it twice. And obviously,
So he'd have been
the
took
World
off.
Cup. Yeah,
Today, he would have been took off. Oh, he's in the red zone.
probably, yeah.
The day somebody gets a computer and tells you in training that you either need to slow down or speed up, see you later. Sport's about people and people going beyond what they think they're capable of. But that's how you get better. You don't get better by being safe. You never do. You have to push yourself to be the best you possibly can. You can't do that an easy way. It's got to go through them walls. And if you don't go through them walls, you've got the resistance of a dead cat. What's the point? As any sportsman, you go, right, I want to be the best I possibly can because I've got to support my family for one, and I want the best wages, and I want them to have the best living, and I want to do the best for the club. You don't do that by just going to there. You go through that, and you see how far you can get. There is no ceiling in sport. Otherwise, you would never get any sprinters going faster. You would never get any weightlifters carrying heavier stuff.
I think they're the players that Everton fans have warmed to over the years, the players that you're talking about, the ones who perhaps aren't blessed with the most ability but have just got this mentality to really go through it. You know, some cult heroes that we've had have been much less skilled than some really
Messi,
good players.
Ronaldo, right? They try 100% every single week and they do something special. There's your benchmark. Right, there's your benchmark, there's your world-class benchmark. Why are you worried about anybody else? How many gigs have you been shit at? Right? All right.
Nev, we haven't got time for that.
No. Sorry, I would like to have a lawyer present for this answer.
But you've gone through all of that time and built up your resistance to wherever you can get in there, and you've got the confidence to do what you need to do because you've had that shit. And you have to go through that.
Now I can be shit and not care.
Yeah, exactly.
Just not care.
Yeah, there's 2 of us.
I've seen that.
Oh yeah, but you have. There's no barrier because you'd never get any further. You can't have barriers as a sports person. It's just ridiculous. And you get people saying, "Oh, he's going to be tired." Oh, fuck off. You're not tired. He's telling you you're tired.
You're not tired, you're just hungry. That's what I say to me kids. Someone needs to sleep.
On that note,
Yes.
I feel like we need to get Nev in the dressing room. I think you're going to be the ultimate motivational speaker for this team. But right, on that note, we are going to have to take a very quick break. But before we do that, we're going to play a game of Who Am I? Now, this is where I give the panellists 3 clues as to an Evertonian personality. Okay, sit on these clues. After the break, I will give you the answer. But thinking caps on.
Personality.
Well, yeah. Everton. Who was a player for Everton? Evertonian player, personality, same things.
Okay.
Here we go. Clue number 1. I was a 10,000 metre runner before I started my professional football career in 2006. Clue number 2, I played 141 games for Everton and helped my country to 3rd place in the World Cup. And question 3, I've been bought twice by David Moyes to play under him at 2 separate clubs. Have a think about it, and we'll reveal the answer after the break. Welcome back to another episode of the Football Ball. It's an Everton special. My guests this week are Neville Southall, Sam Avery and Charlie Baker. All right, before before the break, I asked you, who am I? Have you had your thinking caps on? I gave you 3 clues as to the ex-Everton player. If you need a reminder, here they are. Number 1, I was a 10,000 metre runner before I started my professional football career in 2006. Clue number 2, I played 141 games for Everton and helped my country to 3rd place in the World Cup. And clue number 3, I've been bought twice by David Moyes to play under him at 2 separate clubs. Any ideas?
Amanda Holden.
It's a good
Close.
idea. It's a good question.
Probably as much hair as Amanda Holden, I have to say.
I thought it was Tim Cahill, but I don't think it is because I don't think Australia ever came 3rd
No.
in the World Cup, as far as I know.
Go on, all together.
Fellaini.
Fellaini.
Very
There
nice.
we go.
Oh, you said player, sorry.
He's part of the golden generation, wasn't he, for Belgium? That golden generation didn't win anything either. So,
Right, well, that was your warm-up, okay? Because we are going to get into Call Yourself a Fan. It's quiz time. You are allowed to help out if you think you know the answers. Feel free to assist our panel here, because what we're going to do is go through. They get 5 questions each to our panel. 4 out of 5 tends to be the standard score for this. Charlie, you are the only person to have got 5 out of 5.
yeah, so I got this job.
Yeah, it was.
To be fair, that was about Torquay.
Yeah, I was going to say, you are correct, Neville. It was about
It was
Torquay
about
United.
Torquay.
So
There's only 5 people ever been there.
Neville, you are a Torquay United legend, and that can be rescinded at any time.
Look, it's not always an easy quiz. Have you picked a scorer for us?
Yes,
Charlie?
Brian's here. I asked if there's anyone called Brian in the room, and I picked the person who most looked like a Brian, and it was this guy. If you stand up, you'll find he does look like a Brian. Here he is. Stand up, Brian. There we are. Look at that. Most like a Brian.
Okay, all these questions are Everton related. It's how well do you know your club?
Oh,
Okay?
okay.
Sam.
Good stuff.
Dun, dun, dun. You want to go first?
Yes, please.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, how you feeling?
A little bit nervous.
Do well under pressure?
Not really, no.
What, you haven't seen?
All right, let's see. Here we go. Question number 1. How many First Division titles have Everton won? Is it A, 8, B, 9, or C, 10?
Okay, so I know that one, even though inside I think it should be so much more. It's 9.
Correct.
It is 9, yes. Well done, Sam. The last 2 were in the mid-80s when they had the world's best goalkeeper. As we said earlier, Neville was in goal. The first was 1890-91.
Yes.
Sam, any ideas?
Cracking year, that.
Yeah, great.
We won that one at Anfield.
Yeah, I mean, it might have been the only club in existence at that point.
we
I
were.
think there we are.
We beat our reserve team to win the league. That's it.
Very nice.
Liverpool then.
Everton have spent more seasons than any other club in the world in the top flight of domestic football. You've only missed 4 seasons out of 126 in the First Division and the Premier League. Very good, David Moyes, isn't he? Very good. Is he going to do it? I don't think he did all those, did he? I don't think he. David Moyes coming back was like when the dad's left the family to go and find what he thinks is a nicer person somewhere else. And then he's come back now and he's promised he won't do it again.
Yeah.
He'll break your heart again, Sam.
Thank you very much, Dictionary Corner.
Thank you very
Appreciate
much,
that. Okay. Brian, you keeping score over there?
I absolutely am. It's a 1-0 at the moment.
Excellent.
Very good
Thanks, though.
scorer.
Here we go. Here
Found
we
the
go.
right person, didn't we?
We did indeed. Sam, question number 2. How many managers did Everton have between David Moyes' 2 spells at the club?
Are we counting Mike Walker?
Is it A, 11, B, 12, or C, 13?
Oh my God, what horrific choices.
I don't know if we're going for bonus points, if anyone can list them.
All I know is that Everton have had as many managers as the Great Britain's has had prime ministers over the last 10 years. Can I run through the managers that I think
Yeah, of course.
were? So Martinez,
Yep.
Koeman, Big Sam Allardyce,
Yep.
So helping.
yeah,
Thank
Martin
you.
Silva.
Yep.
Then we've got Dyche, but we've missed someone. We've missed Benitez.
Yeah.
We've missed.
Agent Rafa.
We've missed Lampard, Ancelotti. Duncan was twice. I'm going to say, I think it was 10.
It's not. Well, that wasn't one of the options.
10 wasn't one of the options.
Considering 10 wasn't an option, you had 11, 12 or 13. I may have to reassess your answer, please.
There's Unsworth as well, isn't it? Yeah.
Duncan twice.
To be honest, I think most people in this room have had a go at some point. It's like that Andy Warhol quote, is it? At some point in the future, everyone will be Everton manager for 15 minutes.
Go on.
11.
11. Collective effort. Congratulations.
Yeah. It was like an auction of failure. It was amazing. We go Roberto Martinez, Ronald Koeman, David Unsworth, Sam Allardyce, Marco Silva, Duncan Ferguson, Carlo Ancelotti, Rafa Benitez, Duncan Ferguson again, Frank Lampard, Sean Dyche, Pew Pew, Barley McGrew, Cuthbert Dibble Grubb. There we are.
All right. Question number 3. In which famous boxing film is Goodison Park used as the venue for the climactic fight scene? Rocky. Was it A, Raging Bull, B, Creed, or C, Rocky?
It was Creed.
It was.
It was Creed. That guy at the back, he just shouted Rocky. If you're going to do it to the highest standard. Not my first rodeo. Okay. Yes, footage of the stadium and crowd during a home game against West Brom was used for the scene. Liverpool-born boxing champion Tony Bellew, a lifelong Everton fan, plays Creed's opponent and wore the Everton badge on his training gear and shorts.
Beautiful. Brian, where are we up to?
Oh, Sam's got 3 out of 3 at the moment.
Pretty good, Sam.
Do well. Here we go. Question 4. Who scored Everton's first goal in the Premier League this season? Was it Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Dwight McNeil, or Michael Keane?
I can't remember that far back because that was about 6 managers ago, wasn't it? Judging by the previous question. I can't remember who we played first game of the season. I know it was before Dwight McNeil got injured. Dominic Calvert-Lewin's been very hit and miss. So this is pure guesswork. I can't actually think back. So I'm going to say Dwight McNeil.
It was Michael Keane.
Michael Keane.
It was Michael Keane in the 3-2 defeat at home to Bournemouth. Calvert-Lewin scored the second, and you were 2-0 up until the 87th minute. I'm not laughing at you. And then they scored 3 times. But that was then. It wouldn't happen now. It wouldn't happen now, would it?
No, Mike Keane's not playing.
All right, 5th and final question. Arsenal have the most red cards in the Premier League this season with 5, but how many red cards have Everton received so far? The A2, B3, or C4?
Well, I know Ashley Young got sent off once because someone said he's been sent for an early bath, and I was like, he's that old? I hope it's a walk-in bath, to be honest. I'm going to say 3.
3? It's 2.
It's two. Abdoulaye Doucouré in the Merseyside derby mayhem, and Ashley Young in the first game of the campaign against Brighton. Yes. There we are.
Ashley Young, what a great name for a pensioner.
All right, Brian, what's the score?
Well, he's dipped a little bit in the end there, but he's finished up with 3 out of 5.
Yeah, 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5?
Sam, not bad. Yeah, 3 out of 5. Yeah, very good. Well done, Sam.
3. All right, Sam is on 3 out of 5. When we come back, Neville Southall, it's your turn in the hot seat.
Great.
Make sure you join us. All right, welcome back to the final part of the Football's On. It's an Everton special. Just before the break, Sam Avery scored 3 out of 5 in our Call Yourself a Fan quiz. And next up, it's our special guest, Neville Southall. Here we go.
Neville.
All right, remember the top score this season is still 4 out of 5, so there's a chance to top the leaderboard here.
I'm not used to that.
Here we go.
Used to be at the bottom.
Question number 1. During the 1980s, Everton joined the football pop music craze, releasing 3 FA Cup singles in successive years.
Did they?
I was going to say, which song did the best in the official charts? So which song finished the highest
Here we
within the
go.
charts. Does anyone remember these songs?
Here we
to
go,
start
that
with?
one.
Here we go, side by side, and sing along together. Lead me out to win, wherever it's said, we'll be Everton forever.
Nice.
All right,
Do the dance, Nev.
Luckily,
Okay, so
I never went to that one.
the answer, well, A, the boys in blue. Anyone give us a rendition of that?
So give a cheer over here for the boys in blue.
Yay! How did they go? B is Here We Go, we've just had, or C is Everybody's Cheering the Blues.
Everybody's cheering the blues.
From
Not a classic, it's not a classic, it's not a classic, is it? Not
what I love is from Merseyside, apparently the home of the greatest music of all time.
I didn't realise they had 3.
Yeah, 3.
Yeah, I missed all of them, man.
Which one are you going with though, A, B or C?
A
yeah,
was
that
the
one.
boys in blue. B was Here We Go.
Oh, B,
C
B then.
was Everybody's Cheering the Blues.
It was definitely B.
It was B. Well done, Nev. Here We Go reached number 14 in 1985, described as a thrilling adaptation. I don't know who described it as that. Of someone deaf, by all accounts. A thrilling adaptation of John Philip Sousa's Stars and Stripes Forever. And the team sang it on the Wogan Show.
I remember that.
Yeah, not the Joe Wogan Show, the Terry Wogan Show. There we are.
What were they wearing? Oh,
Wogan.
look!
Ah.
It's got the official tracksuit
Official
from the
jacket. Look
side.
at that. Stand up.
Yeah, I have to correct you, though, because the team didn't sing it.
oh, right.
Because I wasn't there for sure.
Oh, there we are. Nev.
Some of the others who were there were a bit dubious as well.
Okay.
Are you telling me they got actual singers to sing that came out?
Nev was on drums. No, here we go. The boys in blue peaked at number 84 the year before, and in 1986, Everybody's Cheering the Blues made it all the way up to number 83. Not as popular as hoped.
Okay, question number 2. Now, these stats are taken from the official Everton FC website. Any complaints? You know where to go. But, Neville, you hold the record for the most all-time appearances for the club on 750.
Wow.
Who is next on the club's all-time appearance list?
Brian LeBone.
Doesn't even need the answer.
Wow, unbelievable. Well done. It was Brian LeBone, which is a good name for a bone, isn't it?
Ah, very good.
Brian LeBone on 534, so only 226 behind you, Neville. Kevin Ratcliffe's a mere beginner on 494. And here's another stat. Out of those 750 appearances, you kept 269 clean sheets. Beautiful. That is amazing. That is phenomenal.
Brian, where are we up to?
Oh, Neville's doing pretty well. 2 out of 2 so far.
About 2.
All right, here we go. Question 3. Everton's longest unbeaten sequence came in the 1984-85 season when you won the First Division title. How many games did you go unbeaten in that campaign? Was it A, 28, B, 29, or C, 30?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I am. You were there, do you remember?
My battery's gone.
I can remember I was there. 30 seems too much. What did we play 40? That means 12 we didn't. So 28.
Sounds good to me.
Correct. The answer's 28.
Good. The answer is 28. That was the year you won the title, and the unbeaten sequence started on Boxing Day, which is nice, isn't it? Nice little present, and saw you collect 50 out of a possible 54 league points. You also reached 2 cup finals along the way. Ended the season with 90 points, 13 ahead of Spurs and Liverpool. There we are, 13 ahead of Liverpool and Spurs.
Excellent. Here we go. Question 4. This is Premier League stats time, okay? How many clean sheets have Everton kept so far this season? Is it A7, B8, or C9?
9.
Bang on the money.
Bang on, very good, Neville. It is 9 clean sheets. Jordan Pickford has played all 29 matches, making 85 saves and conceding 36 goals. Only Arsenal have more clean sheets at the time of recording this show.
Important. Excellent. All right, Brian.
Well, this is Big Nev, ever the perfectionist.
Yes.
You know, everyone right, no clean sheet.
It's all about standards, Nev, isn't it?
Here we
It's all about
go.
standards.
We're going into the red zone. Here we go. Question number 5. You could actually top the leaderboard here. You ready for this?
Right.
Who is Everton's oldest player in the Premier League era? Is it you? Is it Ashley Young? Or is it Nigel Martin?
Good question. Good question.
I'm trying to think of how old he
Nigel
was.
is Cornish, so that you might want to take that into account.
What, does he go different ages in Cornwall,
Yeah,
is
it's
it?
different in
It's
Cornwall.
like one for every 10 years.
Yeah, if they count on their fingers, it can be more.
I would say Nigel Martin.
Going to say Nigel Martin. The answer was Ashley Young.
Ashley Young, B. Ashley Young.
We are living through history.
Yeah. You were all 39 years old. Ashley Young is still going strong at 39 and 200. Strong, might be. Pushing it a bit, but he's 39 and 248 days. Nigel Martin was 3963 days, and your good self, Neville, 39 and 74 days. That's according to EvertonResults.com site. Write to them if it's wrong. And let's face it, they are never wrong. It says here, terms and conditions apply.
All right, we were so close there, but Brian, the final score for Neville Southall.
Well, Neville's got 4 out of 5.
Not bad.
Very good.
Excellent. Brian, thank you very much for keeping score there.
Brian.
Excellent job for you. All right, this is the time where we open questions. Anybody got any questions that they would like to ask? I would say any of the panel. So, first question, what is your name?
My name's Jez. My question is to Nev, and it's really about goalkeeping standards these days. I think the general standard of goalkeeping has been quite poor for the last 5 to 10 years in the Premier League. Why do you think that is? What's causing this poor level of goalkeeping overall?
One, because everybody wants to play percentages, so they're quite happy to save it. If you look at the time, their ambition, like I said to you before, should be able to catch it, but they don't. So sometimes it's your own personal ambition, I think, personal drive. And there's so many foreign managers coming, and they're quite happy for their goalies to punch the ball and do that, because they think once they've done that, they've made a save. When I look at some of the goals that go in, they only go with one hand. Right, and the ball's here, so they go there and they stop it, but it's just easy to put your other hand there. But they have no intention of catching it. It's as if, like, as long as I get a touch on the ball, I've done enough. So the personal ambition is poor. They don't seem to want to be the best. They just want to be what they want to be. You see them in games and they make a save. Why did they all high-five everybody for making a save? It's me, I thought that was your job, mate. You don't do that, do you? When a bricklayer comes round your house and he's got a brick, way, high five. Aye, great, brilliant, well done, it's a brick. Way, high five, there's another brick. No, I just think it's, the standard's so low, and I think they concentrate more on the passing. Well, their job's never changed. The job's keep the ball out the net. If you look at, funny enough, I look at Jordan on Saturday for the one he tipped over the bar. I look at that and think, why did you go with that hand when your right hand was nearer? So then I look at some of the other goalies and I'm thinking, why have you pushed the ball out to that area where there's somebody coming in? Surely your vision's there and you train with the ball. So it's not as if it's a big surprise, is it? That it moves. It moves a little bit, but this is the other con, is that when I played, which sounds like just after the war, right, they had all different types of ball. So you go to Chelsea and they had a Rumbro ball, and that would move slightly. Then you had the mitre ball, which was a bit heavier and maybe move a little bit. Then you went to Liverpool and they had an Adidas ball, and that was a lot lighter. Right, so what I used to do is get a 10 footballs before we played each of them games, and I'd just work out what they did, and then put that on Saturday. now it seems to be like they're just happy to get anything underway, as if the ball moves. And I'm thinking, come on, how long's the Premier League been going with them balls? Been going years, and you still haven't worked out a way to catch it. So I think the standard is poor, but I do think generally it's because people won't let them train. They don't train long enough. I know if you want to be a pro, it's 170 hours to be a pro, but then to keep it at that level and improve, you have to do more and more. Well, these do less. Do you know what? Darts players probably train longer than footballers now. Which is saying something, isn't it? Let's be honest. It is. So I think footballers are one of the shortest training professionals we've got. And they say it's because of the game, but in all fairness, I don't think it is. I think it's just the way there's a whole load of people who want their jobs in football. And they want to make sure that they get the best food, but the best nutrition they've ever had, the best fitness people they've ever had, play less games, right? And somebody controls them and they can only play 70 minutes. Well, if somebody's only playing 70 minutes, why wouldn't you drag them on? Why wouldn't you drag the physio side and say, hang on a minute, the game's 100 minutes now, so train for 100 minutes. Why are they training for that?
There must be some science to it. They must have done.
Well, of course there is.
You'd think the scientists and the physiologists and all those things, they're not making it up. I'm assuming there is some research.
Yeah, but we work
to back it up.
A nurse works 8 hours a day.
Yeah, well, it's a different skill set, isn't it?
Yeah, but the physicality of it. So it's.
Yeah, but nurses can't defend corners.
To be fair, they do better than a lot of other people.
Great question. Thank you very much. Who's up next?
My name is Jason.
Nice to meet you.
Hi. So we're due to leave the old lady end of the season. What's your best memory from there?
Well, I think the Bayern Munich Cup Winners' Cup semi-final. But I've worked out, right, that I've been thinking about it a lot, and I look at the new stadium. I'm not really bothered with the new stadium, to be fair, because will be what it was. And I looked at the old stadium, and I'm thinking, what actually made that special? It's the people. You could put that ground anywhere and it'd be a ground. Fill it with the people, and it becomes a really special place. So for me, it's not so much about leaving the ground; it's about leaving that group of people, because you've made the memories. You've done everything that I've ever had in my life in that stadium. The ground hasn't. You have, as people. So to me, the most important bit is the move of the people to the next place. And that's what I'm saying, it's going to get fragmented. So it's going to take a while, but the special memories are of the people. Obviously the sights, the sounds, do you know what I mean? The smells, when you come out on the pitch and all that, you know, everyone's drinking there. Well, there's more shit on the pitch now, mate, than there ever was. So you look at, you know, all the bother and all that, and it's a wonderful place to be. But it's only wonderful because of the people. The stadium's a stadium, but the people are fantastic. And that's what makes it the best. Because if you had that stadium in London, fans are crap, aren't they? We've got the best fans in the world, so that's what makes it special. And that is a special place because of the people.
Yeah.
What's your favourite memory of Goodison?
Well, I was at the derby a few weeks ago, and me and my mate, we're at the back of the lowest Gladys, and you're looking left to see that goal, crouching down to see that goal, but the atmosphere was just spine-tingling. You know, it's unbelievable. So,
And who makes the atmosphere?
oh, unbelievable.
People.
Yeah.
The people are everything of that club. And that's why it is the people's club. It's not because somebody said something once. It's because of the generations of people that have gone to the game. The families have gone to the game, and their kids have gone to the game. They've grown up with the club. They've stuck through all of these times where it's easy to go and support somebody else. It takes some doing. That's why it's a special club. It's because of the people. The ground, great, you know, brilliant, but people, special.
Every time I go into Goodison, I just think of all my family members that I've been to the match with, and some of them are no longer with us, you know, so there's this real, tangible sense of heritage and belonging, and the new ground won't have that at first.
No.
I think it will over time as people
Yeah, when people
recreate new
gel.
memories.
Yeah.
Maybe pipe in the smells from the old ground. You know, woodbines, horse poo, bovril,
I might, yeah,
block toilets.
I'll make sure I had a bottle just for the
Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you. Do you want to pop it next to you?
You know, I'm just wondering, obviously we've already discussed today we are miles behind where we should be at the minute, but do you think the new ground will help us catch up to where we should be? I know we've already maybe just said that it maybe won't give us that edge, but do you think it at least gives the opportunity to progress the club?
I think commercially it'll give us the chance to make more money. And that's a big thing at the moment. The hospitality is crammed into a small ground. This way we're going to have a lot more hospitality, a lot more people going through the ground, which will give us a financial clout to go and buy better players, hopefully. And then the better players we get, the more successful we become, the more they charge for the hospitality. My one fear about that ground is if we get to a point where we go like Liverpool and we freeze the people who live or our fans out, and it becomes so commercialised that it is a business, it's commercialised, but we can't lose the human element. So I look at that new ground and go, it's built for commercial profit, which is great, but how do you then keep the personal touch? Because at the moment it's a tight little ground, everybody knows everybody, it's been set up there for years. How do you take that and put it in a new ground? It's really, really difficult, but I think it will give us an edge, but not in signing players. No one's going to come there and go, oh, you're 15th, great stand though. I'm not going to do that. They're going to go, right, okay, how much money? What's your plans? It's simple as that. So the ground won't give us much, but it'll give us a new start to people, I suppose. If you look at next season's a fresh start, and it'll be interesting to see what they do in the summer. I don't think it'll change radically, because it can't, I don't think, but the season after that, yeah. So for everybody in here, when you're talking about hope, there is hope, and you would hope that within the next 5 years we'll be challenging for the league and have won a trophy, because that's the aim. Because there's no reason why you can't win an FA Cup, because it's only 6 or 7 games.
Yeah. And what do you think of the capacity? Do you think the club were a little bit, they lacked ambition in going for 53?
I'm not sure about lack of ambition in the ground. I think what they have lacked is, it's great when you get there. Just getting out of the ground is going to be the problem. So, yeah, no, I think if you can, I think you might be able to extend that ground. They must have looked at extending it somehow, because if we do get more and more successful, look, for me, we have to have one eye here, but one eye on the Super League, because the Super League will come eventually, and we need to be part of that, because it's got to come. Whatever anybody says and all the morals about it, business will trample over all of them morals, and money will trample over all of them morals, and you will have a Super League, and then we have to be competing in that. So we've got time now to build that to get into the Super League. And no matter what people say, yeah, morally it's wrong. Yeah, of course it's wrong. It's coming. It's coming. And then, whether you like it or not, it's coming. And the way you watch football is going to come. A massive change, I think. I think you will go to the big clubs who get in that Super League, will either do a small deal with somebody like Amazon or somebody, or they will stream their own stuff. And they will have all the money themselves. My fear then is what happens to grassroots football, what happens to international football. So the changes are coming, and we're living through a change. Well, it's going to be a big change, and it'd be interesting to see what goes on. Luckily, I'll be dead by the time I get the Super League, so I don't give a shit.
You've mentioned the Bayern Munich game a couple of times, but outside of that one, have you got any very particular special memories of Goodison, or perhaps like a save you've made at Goodison that was particularly kind of important to you as well as the team?
My saves, not interested. Because how can I judge a save? If the ball hits me in the face and goes out, is it any different if I pull one out the top corner? Same thing. So one might look better, but they both do the same job. What I did like about Goodison, when I used to go into Goodison, if I wasn't doing so well, and I'd go to Goodison and I'd get there early and I'd look round, then I'd look at all the disabled bays and think, I've got a bit of a cheek here because I'm not enjoying my football, but how can I not enjoy my life when these people can't get out of that chair? Right? How have I got the cheek to worry about me playing and making a mistake when I can't show the same dignity, the same courage, the same humour as any of them people in there? So I'm stupid, because I should be really grateful for what I can do. Then I look round the stands and go, there's 40-odd thousand Evertonians here, and every one of them will change place with me tomorrow. Hi.
Two-part question. First of all, what were your feelings when our club reappointed David Moyes? And secondly, what were your feelings when our club appointed Rafa Benitez?
How did the hierarchy happen?
Agent Rafa.
I think David Moyes, I thought, wasn't sure, to be fair. He's done okay, to be fair. But I don't want him long term. I don't want him short term, because I think he's good at doing that. Rafa Benitez is a difficult one, because I really don't care who comes through the door to be manager, as long as they're the best one. I don't care where he's come from. See, everybody thinks, right, that if you play for Everton, you hate Liverpool. I admire a Liverpool Football Club. The reason I admire a Liverpool Football Club is because we knew that if we finished above them, we'd be champions. And if Liverpool Football Club was successful, then people in the boardroom would have to get off their arse and get something done. And we've let that slide. So when you look at Liverpool, you go, respect to them, because they are great players and they're a great club. So we need them, but we need to be above them. So they're our benchmark for the city of Liverpool. Get above them, we've got a chance of winning the league. Right, so don't hate them, look at them and go, right, good players, respect them, boom, done, but we need to be better than that. So Rafa Benitez, I think he had the good intentions of coming and doing well. His style of football wouldn't have gone down well at Goodison really that much. So I look at that and go, well, there's a thing from the owner. The owner did it. The owner and the sponsor did it. So there's a thing where somebody being massively out of touch. But I'm convinced it brings up something else, that if you have a new owner coming into the Premier League, there should be somebody with him for the first 12 months from within that club or from outside who knows the club as a mentor, and say, look, don't do that because that's stupid. Don't do that. No, that you're being stupid. Now the people won't have it, and at least it would save a bit of time, and it would help him settle in and understand the club. Because when you come to Everton, you have to understand it's not like any of this, it's for the people. So you have to go, right, people first, club second. So we have to do that. But Benitez was a silly signing, because great manager, done well, not a fit for our club. So there's your recruitment in a nutshell. Let's get somebody in from Liverpool and bring somebody else in from Liverpool. And every one of them blue people will be really happy because they just love that. So yeah, for me, that sums up the whole recruiting for the last 40 years.
I remember his first match though, everyone clapped when they said his name, when he got announced to Goodison. I don't think anyone was happy with the appointment, but we gave him a chance. He was just absolutely awful as a manager as well. Yeah, exactly.
Anyone pulls a blue shirt on, you
yeah.
support him, simple as that.
But everyone's saying, oh, he knows the city, we'll get a cab driver in, if that's all you need.
To be fair, the amount of managers we've had, we probably had a few cab drivers.
Probably have, yeah.
All right, thank you for that. Any other questions? Anyone else?
It's really good to have sort of eccentricity in football players. Some of us remember a great goalkeeper sitting down at half-time and making a protest. Was there any follow-up to that? Did it have an effect on the club or the team? No?
Well, I'll give you a short answer. I'll give you a long answer if you want. No.
No.
I got fined 2 weeks' wages. I was banned from the club for 2 weeks. And I played on Tuesday.
You were 2-0 down v Leeds, is that right?
Yeah.
2-0 down, and you sat down at half-time. Did
Yeah,
anyone
but
bring you a Bovril, Neville?
No, funny enough, no. I'd done it before at Wimbledon for a different reason. But because it was plough lane, there was nobody there anyway, was there? So I've only met one person who remembers me coming out early at Wimbledon. And I came out early because they put about 3,000 sugars in your tea at half time, right? And it was boiling hot. So I came out and sat on the pitch for it. But no one said a word then. But because it was Leeds and I wasn't doing very well, to be fair, and I thought, well, okay. So I need to clear my head. I went in the dressing room, it was rowdy. I thought, I can't be doing with this. So I went and sat on the pitch. And then a fella come on the pitch, and I was looking at him thinking, I know that fella. And as he's walking to me, I go, that fella, he tiled my bathroom. And I'm thinking, shit, did I pay him? And he came across and went, yeah, don't worry about it, lad. And then nothing was said after the game, and I got home about 7 o'clock. And Colin phoned me up, Colin Harvey, the manager, and said, what do you do that for? I said, these are the reasons. He went, well, you're suspended for 2 weeks and you're fined 2 weeks' wages. So, phone went at 10 o'clock and it was Colin again, saying, right, you're suspended for 2 weeks, fined 2. He asked me the same question. I thought, all right, okay, let's be a clever ass. So I phoned my agent and said, look, ring him up and see if I can go on holiday. And that never went down well for some reason. And then I got a phone call off my union on the Sunday who said I was a disgrace and shouldn't be playing anymore, which I thought was right on for a union. Protect me at all costs. And then Colin said, come in Monday, and I come in Monday. It cost me 2 weeks' wages, and I played Tuesday. Well, I think you have to do what you have to do. I don't regret anything I've ever done because I did it for the right reasons. I didn't do it
What those reasons were then? Because I don't.
because I was playing shit.
That's it.
That's it. So I wanted to clear my head, and I cleared my head, and I played better. Wasn't great, I played better than I did. So yeah, I don't mind doing anything. Look, if it's wrong, it's wrong. I did get a few death threats after that. Oh, I did, seriously. I had a letter saying to come round and burn my house down and kill my kid. So I took it to the chairman, and he went, yeah, and? I said, well, I've got this letter. He went, nah, that's all right.
Wow.
And that was it. So, yeah. So, but, you know, it is what it is, isn't it? Sometimes, if you do something that you believe in, then you've just got to go, well, fine. People aren't going to like it. As long as I know I'm doing it for the right reasons. But I don't really give a shit. Because I've got to be me. And if I can't be me, I don't belong at the club. And I've got to do what I think is right. And if it's wrong, you stick your hand up after and go, it's wrong. But I thought it was the right thing to do, probably at the wrong time.
We all heard Nev say then he has no regrets, and this is a man who played for Torquay 58 times.
You've got to remember, my first ever training session at Torquay, I trained with the goalies, and we went down, it was Kenny, who was the goalie? Kenny Sant?
Kenny Allen, Kenny Vasey.
Kenny Vasey. So he took us down to the local park in his car, said, oh, we're training here. So we trained, and as we got getting back to his car, I thought, oh my God, what's that smell? And then I realised why they called it Dog Shit Park.
And that's the original name of our stadium. So,
yeah, it wasn't a pleasant drive back to the training ground, I'll tell you that now.
Brilliant. I feel like we could listen to your stories all day, but unfortunately we've got to wrap it up there. Thank you very much for all your questions. Thank you for watching at home. The audience in West London, you've been fabulous. Give us a My thanks as well to Charlie Bates.